Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali and Mr. Bhatt, for inviting CPEC Authority for this important event. And good morning to everyone in Pakistan, and good afternoon to everyone in Hong Kong. We have a brief presentation on the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The sequence of our presentation, I'll give a brief background on CPEC. How did it develop? What are the planning parameters and the different phases that have been launched so far? As you all know, that Pakistan and China have very close relationship for the last 70 years. However, as a result of during the visit of the Prime Minister, Mr. Li Shiqing of China to Pakistan in 2013, based on the consensus reached, an MOU was signed in Beijing in 2013 July for developing the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor long-term plan and action plan between the National Development and Reform Commission of China and the Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiative of Pakistan. The salient features of the MOU were that CPEC will promote bilateral connectivity and regional economic integration, explore potential bilateral investment, economic and trade opportunities, logistics, and enhance people-to-people connectivity. One of the features was the most important decision-making forum was the Joint Cooperation Committee, which is headed at the ministerial level at both sides. And then there are several joint working groups. So far, 10 have been established at DG secretary level. And all joint working groups are then supported by the expert groups, which provide support to JCC. And then the secretariats have also been set up for daily coordination. The MOU also envisages that a long-term plan should be developed under the principle of scientific planning, with taking the easiest first. Further, an action plan is to be developed every 2 years under the framework of the long-term plan, articulating detailed working targets and cooperation projects, and then implement them phase by phase. The MOU on CPEC is not limited to formulating, it includes, but it's not limited to formulating of LTP for 2015 to 30, but then there was a gap of 2 years, which defines the overall direction, ideas, and goals for cooperation. Communication networks, including roads, railways, fiber optic cables, oil and gas pipelines, linking Western China with Gawada. That was one of the most important features of the MOU. Explore sectoral cooperation and exchanges in agriculture, industrial park construction, manufacturing, and energy. These were also the sectors that were included in the MOU. Further, there was agreement on cooperation in education, culture, tourism, and media, to culture and local government to government exchanges. And then a very important component of the MOU was to conduct dialogues and research on economic cooperation and fields of mutual interest. To give you an idea, once the MOU was finalized, then the long-term plan was formulated for 2017 to 30, and it was signed in November 2017 in Islamabad. Initially, the first 2 years, it was to launch the early harvest projects. Then the short-term plan was till 2020, the medium term till 2025. And then the long-term projects were to be included till 2030. The first target was till 2020, which was the period of market cultivation. And the aim was to remove the major bottlenecks to Pakistan's economic and social development. The second target is till 2025. We call it the second phase of CPEC, which is the period of expansion and development, in which processing and manufacturing industries will be developed, and significant improvement in the people's livelihood, balanced regional economic development, and all the goals of Vision 2025 will be achieved. The third target is till 2030, which is the period of maturity, in which the indigenous mechanism for sustainable economic growth will be in place, and the CPEC will be ready to launch, to play the leadership role in the region. So that's the most important phase, when the real fruits of CPEC will be ripened. The pillars of the long-term plan were connectivity, energy, industries and industrial parks, agriculture development and poverty alleviation, tourism, cooperation in areas concerning people's livelihood and non-government exchanges, and financial cooperation. Based on these pillars, so far, 17 projects have been completed to date, which includes 9 energy projects worth almost $8 billion. These have been done in the IPP mode. 5 transport and infrastructure projects have been completed based on grants and government concessional roads worth almost $5.75 billion. 2 projects have been completed in Gawada at a cost of $304 million on BOT and grant, and 4 socio-economic development projects have also been completed. 19 projects are under implementation at this stage, of which 8 are energy projects. Transportation, 5 projects are under implementation, which are being financed under the government concessional loans, grants, and the public sector development plan of the government of Pakistan. In Gawada, 3 projects are under implementation, 13 in socio-economic development, and then there are 2 socio-economic developments. So we have moved from energy and infrastructure to industrial development in this phase. And in the pipeline, we have another 28 projects, which include 5 energy projects for 3,244 megawatts, another 13 transportation projects, which includes the ML1, 2 projects in Gawada, a further 17 projects in the shape of grant by the Chinese government for socio-economic development, and another 7 socio-economic, special economic zones are going to be developed. In phase 2, we have added new areas of cooperation, which includes industrial cooperation. And these are the areas which will be of interest to our participants, in which we are open to investment. I've already explained partly how projects are included through the JCC, the Joint Working Group and Action Panels. So in phase 2, we have added industrial cooperation, and the primary focus is on industrialization and the relocation of Chinese industries to Pakistan. 9 special economic zones, as I mentioned earlier, are to be established under CPEC, and the details of which will be provided by the Board of Investment in its presentation later. The second sector that has been added is the agricultural sector, for which the Joint Working Group was established last year, and a national action plan for agriculture modernization and mechanization under CPEC has been developed. These are some of the areas which have so far been identified, but we are also open and will be glad to support those who want to invest in corporate agriculture farming, and mostly for agriculture, B2B will be the preferred mode. So there's plant pest and disease control, agriculture technology transfer, particularly for advancement of crop yield and processing, fisheries, aquaculture, and aquatic products. Another important component is the establishment of foot and mouth disease free zones, market information, agri-trade, and large-scale corporate farming. The next sector that has been added is science and technology, for which the Joint Working Group was also formed last year, and in which also both sides have agreed to develop a national action plan for development, which includes sustainable and self-reliance in the field of science and technology, development linkages between government, industries, and academia for indigenous science and technology-based solutions, establishment of science and technology parks and laboratories, and exchange programs and JVs for manufacturing. The fourth sector that has been added in this phase is the housing, which is one of the most potential sector under CPEC to fulfill the housing gap in Pakistan. As you all know, the current regime has launched a plan to build 5 million houses by 2023. So there's a huge demand for housing in Pakistan. Tourism is another sector that has been included in the second phase. And it was also part of the long-term plan, the 2+1. tourism zones are of Jiwani and Gwadar, Jhaljao, Ormala, Somyani, and Keti Bandar. But we have also adding Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Kashmir, and KPK. We are planning to develop tourism zones in these areas. Alongside the coastal tourism, the ecotourism is also on priority. And as I mentioned, integrated tourism in KP have been identified to be developed, and also ecotourism in GB and AJK. For this purpose, CPEC Authority has engaged the National Tourism Coordinator. A brief outline of how CPEC developed and where do we stand at this stage and what are the plans for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zakaria. Belt and Road Initiative is extremely important for Hong Kong and China. The importance of CPEC and BRI is an improvement area for academia as well. Let me invite Dr. Nobahar Sharif, Associate Professor of the University of Science and Technology in Hong Kong, to share his views with us. Dr. Nobahar Sharif has extensive experience of working with Pakistan and Hong Kong entrepreneurs and investment leaders. Dr. Nobahar, please.
Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you very much to the Consul General of Pakistan for inviting me here. I'm going to present a slightly more academic perspective. Mr. Zakaria has given us an excellent overview already about the nuts and bolts and the details of CPEC. So I'm just going to zoom out and give you a little bit more of a macro picture in 4 or 5 minutes. There are 3 main points that I would like to make. The first is that the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is one of 6 corridors in the Belt and Road Initiative. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which we are talking about today, is the first. There's a China-Mongolia-Russia Economic Corridor. There's a Bangladesh-China-India-Myanmar Economic Corridor. There's a new Eurasia Land Bridge Corridor, China-Central Asia-West Asia Economic Corridor, and China-Indochina Peninsula Economic Corridor. So it's important to keep in mind that the CPEC is one of 6 Belt and Road Initiative corridors. The second piece of context that I want to give is that there's a history to the Belt and Road Initiative in Pakistan. The Belt and Road Initiative started in 2013, but that is not to say that it dropped out of the blue into Pakistan's lap out of nowhere. Pakistan-China relationships are deep and long-standing. In 1951, Pakistan was one of the first countries to recognize the People's Republic of China. As early as 1963, China was the world's largest purchaser of Pakistani cotton. Over a period of 20 years, from 1959 to 1979, there was a strategic alliance in the shape of the Karakoram or Friendship Highway that was built in the northeastern part of Pakistan and mainland China. In 1989, there was a bilateral investment treaty that was signed between the 2 countries. And obviously, we are here talking about CPEC, the seeds of which were sown in 2013. So that's the first point that I wanted to make. There is a context to the Belt and Road Initiative. It is a culmination and it is an exemplification of the long-standing links that Pakistan and China have had over the last 70 odd years. The second point that I want to make, as Mr. Zakaria has introduced to us already, is that CPEC is primarily infrastructure. The most important pieces of infrastructure that CPEC is involved with is electricity, energy generation. The second most important is the Gwadar Port, and the third is road. To be sure, there are industrial development projects that are coming. There are special economic zones that are coming, all of which Mr. Zakaria has alluded to, and also people-to-people links. But at this moment, it's important to recognize that CPEC is primarily energy, the Gwadar Port, and infrastructure projects. We have already been told by Mr. Zakaria that the midterm projects span up to 2025 and the long-term projects up to 2030. And by those milestone moments in time in 2025 and 2030, I'm sure there'll be other projects, including industrial development, special economic zones, and people-to-people links that we will see. But presently, it is primarily electricity, Gwadar, and infrastructure. That's the second point that I wanted to make. My third and final point that I want to make, and this might be a bit of a dampener given the context of this forum, but I think it's an important point to make, is that there are issues of local capacity, the extent to which Pakistan will be able to absorb all of this investment that is coming into Pakistan from China. Up to this point, we have seen it to be fairly seamless, but CPEC investments are only expected to grow further. As Mr. Zakaria has told us, there are 17 projects already completed in energy, transport, water, and social development. The midterm projects run up to 2025 and the long-term projects up to 2030. Whether or not Pakistan will be able to absorb seamlessly and efficiently all of these investments coming through the CPEC vehicle is an outstanding question that remains to be answered. As I have said, up to this point, the signs are promising. Even throughout 2020, the most challenging parts of COVID, we have not seen any abatement in investment into Pakistan from CPEC projects. So the signs are looking good. However, do not forget that Pakistan has not received this level and scale and scope of investments in its history. Hopefully, we all expect and hope and pray that Pakistan will be able to handle all of this investment to the best of its abilities. But this is an open question that and the answer to which remains to be seen over the next decade. So those are the 3 points I wanted to make. I will leave it at that, and I will hand over to the next speaker in line. Please, Ali.
Thank you, Dr. Nobahar.
Hong Kong Trade Development Council is the backbone of Hong Kong trade. It is also a counterpart of Trade Development Authority of Pakistan in Hong Kong. Dr. Patrick Lau, Deputy Executive Director, has a vast experience on global trade and investment. May I now invite Dr. Patrick Lau for his view of this subject. Dr. Lau, please.
Thank you, Ada. Good afternoon, everyone, good morning. I must first thank the Consul General of Pakistan in Hong Kong for this invitation and to organize this very meaningful forum. The business ties between Hong Kong and Pakistan are obviously very strong, and investments are flowing into Pakistan abundantly. So this is very encouraging. Hong Kong investors are no strangers to Pakistan either. I note that some of the big names that are present already in Pakistan include Hutchison Ports, China Overseas Ports, Kerry Logistics, and United Energy Group. There are many others who are on this forum today also. I must also say that Consul General Bilal, upon his arrival in Hong Kong, has already established very close working relationship with us here at the HKTDC, and together with his colleagues Ali and Ada, we work closely to hopefully cultivate new opportunities for businesses in Hong Kong, in Pakistan, and globally. And I understand from my colleagues that the MOU is currently being discussed between the HKTDC and the Trade Development Authority of Pakistan. I think that will be a fantastic opportunity for us to enhance our collaboration further. So let me walk you through very briefly what I think the HKTDC platform could offer to participants on this forum. We all know that it's a new normal situation. In 2020, there are no shortage of challenges. Luckily, we are now in 2021, so it's a new year. We are looking forward to capitalizing on new momentum and new opportunities. So with that, the Belt and Road Initiative is obviously one. The two speakers before me had mentioned the China-Pakistan economic corridor. I think this is a wonderful head start to the relationship under this Belt and Road between Pakistan and China. And we have one platform in the HKTDC, which is the Belt and Road Summit, which help to facilitate business exchange under the Belt and Road initiatives. And again, this is to promote international collaboration, apart from hosting multiple keynote speakers from sort of government officials to business leaders. This summit is actually about investment projects, projects pitching, and business matchings. So in the version that, in the edition that we had just hosted in November last year, there were 700 business matching meetings being carried out alongside the summit, even though it was a virtual summit in 2020 due to the pandemic. And that covers 250 investment projects. So I encourage Pakistan businesses who have projects to consider this platform. And in addition to this annual event, actually we have a platform we call Belt and Road Portal. This is on the internet, it's open access, and it lists all the viable, commercially viable Belt and Road projects in a range of sectors, including infrastructure, obviously, transportation, innovation and technology, natural resources, public utilities, even urban development, and also healthcare. And those projects will be listed on the portal, and the HKTDC colleagues would help during the year to see if we have suitable investors to match with the projects. And certainly we will also open up our platform such as the Belt and Road Summit to let the projects have discussions with potential investors. So the whole purpose of this is to ensure that the Belt and Road projects, that those that are commercially feasible can get done. And Hong Kong is obviously best positioned to do that. Hong Kong is the commercial hub with our international financial center position, with our China outbound investors that are abundantly operating out of Hong Kong, our infrastructure and real estate sector, our dispute resolution, logistic, and also the trading hub position of Hong Kong. So therefore, I reiterate again, that if the HKTDC, if the Hong Kong platform can help, we would really want to facilitate more of the Belt and Road projects and investments, and to match those projects in Pakistan or ideas from Pakistan with global and mainland China investors. Before I conclude, I would just want to very briefly mention some of our other platforms other than the Belt and Road Summit. The HKTDC, we have about 40 of these big scale trade fairs and anchor events and conferences every year. So some of the bigger ones are shown on this page. From the left, it will be the Asian Financial Forum, and this is a forum where we get together all the financial leaders at the beginning of each year to explore opportunities in finance, in fintech, and more. Then in around sort of towards the end of the year, we have a logistic conference where we call Asia Logistic Maritime and Aviation Conference, LMAC. So this will come back in November 2021. And also we have a new conference later in the year about healthcare, so which will be called Asia Summit on Global Health. So I invite Pakistan businesses to utilize all these platforms. Obviously, we have a lot of trade fairs, and the full list of trade fair schedules will be on our website. We also have an online marketplace. Even when we cannot host the physical trade fair, we are now helping a lot of businesses do their sourcing through our online marketplace, our hktdc.com sourcing platform. So with that, I thank you once again, and I welcome this increased collaboration between Hong Kong and Pakistan, and I look forward to doing more during the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lau. Board of Investment Pakistan is working to enhancing foreign direct investment in Pakistan. Board of Investment has a vision to provide one window facilities to the investors. Mr. Asim Ayub, Director General China, is with us. I may invite him to enlighten us about the investment opportunities in various sectors. Mr. Asim, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. First of all, I would like to extend my profound gratitude to Consul General of Pakistan in Hong Kong for affording this opportunity to be a part of this meaningful session. And I'll go about the presentation, bringing about the salient features of this very important and significant aspect of this industrial corporation, which define the second and the third phase of this long-term project that we have under CPEC. Okay. All right. So as explained by Mr. Zakaria during the course of his presentation, that the LTP started with in 2017, though the MOU was signed in 2013, and it spans over short-term, medium-term, and long-term projects. Board of Investment is the convener of Joint Working Group Industrial Corporation, and this medium-term and the long-term projects are the part where the Board of Investment comes into play. So it's very significant to mention here that the earlier projects, the early harvest projects, were basically based on the G2G mode, which was rather a mode which was being settled between the governments. But the industrial corporation mode, and if we talk about socioeconomic mode, corporation is primarily a more arduous in nature, as it happens to connect P2P, people to people, and to promote the B2B collaboration. As already explained by Mr. Zakaria in his presentation, the JCC acts as the supervisory apex forum for CPEC, which operates jointly between the Ministry of Planning, Pakistan, and National Development and Reform Commission, China. Initially, there were 4 joint working groups established. So industrial corporation was embedded in the genuine documents of long-term plan, bearing its significance as being the one core sector of this joint working group. Now we have 10 joint working groups which are active. It was during the 6th JCC meeting that JWG was under JWG Industrial Corporation was established, with BUI and NDRC being the lead agencies from both sides. Until date, 5 joint working group meetings have been held under the auspices of this industrial corporation. This is the journey of CPEC Industrial Corporation. This slide represents the journey of CPEC starting from the MOU signing in 2013 and how CPEC Industrial Corporation has evolved and being integrated into this process of CPEC. It is significant to mention that right after the designation of BOI as the lead agency on CPEC Industrial Corporation, a project management unit was being established to spearhead and streamline the activities involving the industrial corporation. So BOI is being assisted by its journey by this PMU unit, which is being established here with league and inclusion of experts, researchers, and other talent from the market. All right. So from this slide actually entails the joint working group journey and the milestones that we have achieved so far. Well, from 2016 till date, Joint Working Group Industrial Corporation has been able to achieve these major milestones besides other initiatives. Like with the assistance of Chinese experts, 9 sites were identified as prioritized SEZs to be established along the corridor. Previously, it was planned that there will be 27 SEZs established, but as per the consensus developed between the and relying upon the Chinese experience of developing economic development areas and SEZs, it was thought that it's better to have lesser SEZs initially and then move on, because the SEZs itself is a very expensive it has a lot of infrastructure and planning that goes into play, utilities, the provision of utilities. So that's why 9 sites were being selected as CPEC SEZs. The SEZs trainings were being carried out in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. And the MOU, which is a basic document of which defines the essence of this industrial corporation, was being signed in 2018. The textile industrial diagnosis, it was agreed in the MOU that there will be sectoral studies to help Chinese businesses to relocate in Pakistan. And 5 sectors were being identified. And out of those 5 sectors, one of them was textile. So the textile diagnosis has already been carried out by the Chinese experts in 2019. And an action plan has been developed. But however, due to the COVID and Corona, the other activities pertaining to this action plan could not be carried out, which is still awaited. And the Chinese expert will again visit Pakistan to have to go for the matchmaking and JVs based on this textile industrial diagnosis. 2 JV agreements, major JV agreements have been signed. There are others in pipeline as well, but these are the 2 major achievements. These JV agreements will be signed under the auspices of Prime Minister Office and Board of Investment. One is between Daewoo Pakistan and Double Star Tires, China, Service Pakistan and Long March Tires, China. And they have moved into the practical phase of carrying out their operations. Rashakai SEZ, which is a public-private partnership SEZ between the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government and the Chinese CRBC company, has successfully ventured into the development phase after the signing of development agreement. So this is one of the very promising SEZ that we have in line with us. So the first phase comprising of 200 acres is being developed at the moment. And the enterprises are coming in and signing in to be part of this mega and very significant SEZ, which will be developed in due course of time. They are now, as of latest, in the 5th JWG meeting, which was held in December last year, very recently. So it has been agreed that the MOU will be elevated into a comprehensive framework agreement to give it a projectized feel of the CPEC Industrial Corporation. 9 SEZs, as I mentioned earlier, have been identified for development under CPEC, which are as shown. And this is more of, these SEZs have been designed to bring in regional connectivity and creating a hub of industrialization in these particular regions, provinces, and other federating units. The early harvest SEZs are here by marked in red. That is Rashakai Economic Zone, which I've alluded to earlier. Then the one is Namakbar Industrial City, which is already in a very advanced stage, and its operation will be operative in I think by end of this year or maybe earlier. China Special Economic Zone Dhabeji is a very promising, yet another very promising SEZ, which is at the port, Karachi City. It has also been approved in principle. And the Bostan at the Balochistan province has also been notified and will be coming up soon for operations. Now, these are the SEZ's incentive package, which have been revised recently last year. And as we can see that it provides a very favorable business platform in the SEZs. And we also have Mr. Kashif Shfaq, the chairman, PKHKIF. He will also allude to the fact that the Chinese working there, the Turkish and other foreign nationals, they're very satisfied with the incentives being offered at these SEZs. So the incentive package was devised to be flexible in terms of import of capital goods. Previously, it was plants and machinery, but the definition has now been broadened as we are learning from the virtue of our experiences of handling these SEZs, policies, and other legal aspects. So now the definition is broadened. It says that 10 years relaxation, custom duty exemption of capital goods. So there is income tax exemption for 10 years from the date of signing of the development agreement for the developer. And for the zone enterprises, the custom duty exemption on import of capital goods, 10 years yet again. And the income tax exemption for 10 years from the date of developers certify that the zone enterprise has commenced the commercial operations. So this custom duty exemption is for one time, like for one time you can just get all your capital goods across. And the definition of co-developer has also been added. Like if a developer comes into play and he wants to opt for a co-developer to assist. So for any reason, for financial reason, other reasons. So the concessions and exemptions are also being extended to the co-developer as well. And here I would also like to allude to the fact that the focus of the government is to provide utilities, because without the utilities, the SEZs will not be operative and infrastructure will not be set up over there. So the government, the present government is committed to this cause, and $130 million have already been made part of our PSDP fund allocation. That is the Public Sector Development Program that will be released over the period of next 3 to 5 years. And so all the CPEC SEZs being strategic in nature are on the fast track with regard to provision of utilities. And also another fact I'll just like to allude is that from 2012 to 2018, there were 6 SEZs which were being notified. But since then, from 2019 till now, there are 15 SEZs which are being approved. So that shows the pace and the commitment of the government to rely and put these SEZs on fast track. And that also entails that we have the enough resources and energy at our disposal to make these SEZs plug and play. So the target industries in SEZs is as shown, but not limited. Now, these are the strong areas where these SEZs can capitalize based on the region and the labor skill available in the vicinity of these areas. The Russia, as you can see, Ilham Iqbal, Bostan, and Dhabeji. So they all have their own flavors being part of the Ilham Iqbal industrial area. Russia is towards the KP side, so it connects the GB area. It may also connect with the Afghan trade and beyond that, other cars. And Bostan is Balochistan, so that is closer to the hub of between the Gwadar and then moving on to these Iran borders and other places. So it can also get into the regional activity as well. Islamabad being in the heart of Punjab, the rich in fertile land, and Dhabeji definitely the port area of Karachi, well established. Now, these are the prioritized sectors as mentioned. These are embedded in the MOU, but not limited. And in the last joint working group, we are actually moving into the tourism sector as well and other service industry and high-tech areas as well, and planning to bring in the concept of smart SEZs, starting from the capital Islamabad. So that is also under consideration and food for thought for our forum here, that this August forum can also give us an insight to come up, because we have this we have the youth the human resource involved in IT sector, and there we understand there's a lot of brain drain as well as and capital out as well in terms of these IT. So it's better to retain them. And for this, I think that we can come up with smart SEZ. And one of the steps that has been taken by the National University of Science and Technology, they have set up the National Science and Technology Park, which is our smart SEZ in Islamabad. So B2B collaboration under CPEC is the essence of what has been set up so far to promote business, to bring in industrialization, to bring in the stakeholders and bring people and relocate business of China to Pakistan. For all that has been done, all the energy projects, all the infrastructure, all the communication, all the road networks, that has to be translated into the form of economic activity and industrialization. So this year, 2021 and onwards, will be a time where we will be inviting the enterprises to come into SEZs and the Chinese businesses and other businesses to be part of CPEC and promote B2B ties. So, the government can be there to, just patronize and be there and, look after and supervise and bring in incentive, but it's for the business to business that needs to prosper. So the SEZs are coming up. As said earlier, utilities have already been provided. Pakistan Regulatory Modernization Initiative has been launched. Ease of doing business, we have improved on and gone a long way to promote that. So I think the stage is set where we can go for the B2B collaboration. And as part of, we say the Hong Kong-based companies have contributed majorly in the FDI of Pakistan, which is evident from the slide as shown above. And yes, so most of these investments have come through oil and gas exploration. We also understand it's a financial help. So most of the companies, even the CRBC, which is collaborating with us, bringing in the SEZ, has its financial partner based in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is and will remain as a very, very significant player in bringing in FDI, meaningful FDI to Pakistan. So this is just another highlight of Hong Kong being there, and that's how we see it. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your patient hearing. Over to Mr. Ali, please.
Thank you, Mr. Asim. And it's really very encouraging and very informative information. Punjab Industrial Estate Development and Management Company is also managing different industrial estate and special economic zones in Punjab. Ms. Amna Faisal, General Manager, Business Development of PKHKIF is with us. Let me invite her to guide us about investment opportunities in the Punjab. Ms. Amna Faisal, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the Consul General of Pakistan in Hong Kong for giving us this platform and this opportunity. I would just quickly and briefly go over what we do and what special economic zones are under Punjab Industrial Estate that we look after. Punjab Industrial Estate Development and Management Company was formed with a vision to promote industrialization in the province of Punjab. It is an autonomous body, a non-profit entity owned by the government of Punjab. And it's a great and successful...
Ms. Amna?
Yes?
Can you please on your voice?
Can you hear me now? You guys can hear me now? If somebody can just tell me. Okay. And it's a successful example of public and private partnership. The vision with which this company was formed was to develop a chain of industrial estates in a dynamic and innovative manner to promote industrialization and strengthen Punjab as far as industry was concerned and agriculture was concerned. Our mission is to elevate poverty, create jobs, and contribute to the sustainable GDP growth. Also to abide by environmental laws and to comply with the WTO regime. These are some of the highlights and achievements that we have done. We have 5 estates which are completely developed, 3 industrial estates which are in the development phase, and the 2 industrial estates which were given to us and we upgraded them. Right now, under our belt, we have 950 industries in production phase. We have around more than 350 industries under construction. More than 840,000 direct employment opportunities and 1.6 indirect opportunities generated by PKHKIF. We have attracted more than 5 billion rupees of local investment, 1 billion USD of foreign investment. We have provided infrastructural development of 15,000 acres for a Qaid-e-Azam solar park plant in Bahawalpur. And our per annum tax contribution is around 3 billion. Okay, so why PKHKIF? Why would you choose our organization when you are going into the industrialization process? Our process, we offer one window services. It's a very straightforward process. The allotment of plot is done in 15 working days. We have one window operations. All the infrastructure is provided to you. All the state-of-the-art facilities are available in all our states under PKHKIF. This is just an overview of the projects that I was just mentioning. There are 2 projects, Qaid-e-Azam Industrial Estate, which is located in Kot Lakhpat, and Multan Industrial Estate, which we upgraded. We have 5 completed projects, which is Sundar, Multan, Rahim Yar Khan, Bhalwal, Vihari. And we have 2 ongoing projects and coming projects, which is Qaid-e-Azam Business Park and Bahawalpur Industrial Estate. We offer, as you know, these days, one window operation is very, very important. PKHKIF, for efficient and timely delivery to customer requirements from land acquisition to start of production, has established one window facilitation center at Qaid-e-Azam Industrial Estate in Lahore. And under one roof, these are a list of all the services that you provide, we provide for you. You don't have to go for any approvals or any other department, from allotment of land to your electricity connection, water connection, services related to FBR, registration with SECP, all is done under one window. And we facilitate you from the start of this process till the end when you go into production. This is the newly one window operation facilitation center that's located. Some pictures to give you an overview. Okay, so we have 4 industrial zones, special economic zones under our belt. The first one is Rahim Yar Khan. If you look at the Google map, it is located on 456 acres of land. The plots available here are 1, 2, and above acre. This already is 50% sold. You get all the SEZ benefits if you buy land in this region, and it is located right on the highway. So the connectivity of this zone is really, really vital. And we already have about 6 factories which are already in production, and colonization is on a really fast track in Rahim Yar Khan. These are some of the pictures. The next is Bhalwal Industrial Estate. This is also a special economic zone. This is located on M2 at Salem Interchange. So right between Lahore and Islamabad. And it's just, you get off the M2, it's literally a 10 to 15 minutes drive. The size of this industrial estate is 427 acres of land. Our payment plan is 30% down payments, and then we have a 2-year installment plan. Here, I would like to mention that we have a big Chinese company by the name of Oriel Ceramics who acquired 37 acres of land from us about a year ago. And this week, actually, their first production batch is out, and they are already in production. It was a fast-track project, a fully Chinese-owned company, and it was a great example of collaboration between China and Pakistan. These are some of the pictures. The next is Vihari Industrial Estate. This is located in south of Punjab. It's a smaller industrial estate as compared to the other two. Its size is 277 acres. And here also we have plots available from ½ acre up to 1, 2, 3 acres, depending on what your requirement is. You get all this special economic zone benefits here, which are already being mentioned in the BOI presentation. So here, the main purpose is to facilitate the local investors, and because there's not much industrialization in this area. So this is a very vital project by Punjab Industrial Estate to bring industrialization within this area and to generate employment in the region. Quaid-e-Azam Business Park. This is the project, this is our latest project, and this project is in the selling phase right now. Firstly, I'll just give you a little background. This project was first just for apparel. After this government's deliberation, we decided to offer it to all the other sectors as well. This project was launched by Prime Minister of Pakistan in July. And now we have already sold around 150 acres. The development is started, and we are hoping, inshallah, by the end of this year, we will be in the position where our customers will start constructing their factories, and industrialization within this area will start. This is located on M2 near Sheikhupura interchange, and it offers a great logistical platform for all our clients. The connectivity is great. It is just 15 to 20 minutes from the Lahore toll plaza. So these are all these four industrial estate under the belt of Punjab Industrial Estate are special economic zones, are declared special economic zones. And they are great for foreign investment and for people to invest here and acquire land here and get the benefits that the government is providing under SEZ. So these are just the 4 projects that I would want to share with you. And we have another project, Bahawalpur Industrial Estate, which is coming very shortly. We're just in the phase of finalizing it. We've already applied for the special economic zone status for that also. And I think in the next quarter, we're looking to launch that also. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Amna. We are very happy to learn all these things, and we hope we can enjoy all the facilities provided by the Board of Investment. Pakistan has increased its power generation capacity tremendously during the past few years. Now the government is focusing on enhancing its transmission capacity. Let me invite Engineer Salis Usman from National Transmission and Dispatch Company to share opportunities existing in power transmission sector. Mr. Salis Usman, please.
Thank you very much, Avan Sahib. I hope you can hear me. Avan Sahib, can you please confirm me? Are you hearing me? Yes. Avan Sahib, please confirm, are you hearing me?
जी, आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thanks a lot for this invitation. And on behalf of NTDC, I'm Salis Usman. I'm going to share a brief presentation on investment opportunities in the transmission sector of Pakistan. So first of all, let me quickly brief you about our company. National Transmission and Dispatch Company, NTDC, it was incorporated on 6th of November 1998 and commenced its commercial operation on 24th December 1998. It's about 22 years ago this company was formed, and it has got a great role in the Pakistan power sector. We believe it's the major player in Pakistan power sector. We are the major transmission company, and our network comprises of 500 kV and 220 kV transmission lines and grid stations. And we are in fact expanding this network very enthusiastically, and you will see our network, the left side, on the left side of the screen is existing network, which is we call December 2020 situation. And within next 5 years, we are going to expand it. I would say we are going to more than double, we are going to construct it during next 5 years. In the next slide, you will see that these are the numbers. In the first part of this slide, existing system is there as of December 2020. And as I said that currently we have got 500 kV and 220 kV voltages, and a total of 17,292 kilometers of transmission lines with a transmission capacity of over 53,000 MVA. So during next 5 years, as I said, that we are going to enhance the grid, and more than double construction will be there. And with that, we are going to add more voltages, higher voltages. One landmark project is going on, which is going to be commissioned very soon during the next few months. HVDC line. This is the first time in Pakistan that we have brought this technology. And similarly, we are going to have 765 kilovolt high voltage line. And there is another cross-border interconnection also, which is a major landmark for Pakistan. We call it CASA, Central Asia, South Asia transmission line, carrying 1300 megawatt. And so this is also, during the next 5 years, we are going to have a transmission capacity of over 100,000 MVA. So in order to meet these aggressive targets, you will see that these are the investment opportunities, and we have selected 8 different projects. These, of course, these are critical projects for our development, and for the next 5 years, this is a midterm transmission expansion plan. And these are all approved projects. Let me read it quickly. The one is the 220 kV Jamrud grid station, and its estimated cost is $23 million US. And it was approved in October 2017, and the expected completion date is the financial year of 2023. Similarly, the next project is Mastone grid station. It's also 220 kV, and its estimated cost is $128 million US. And similarly, this is also expected to be completed in the year of 2023. Same goes for next three projects with 220 kV Nawab Shah grid station, and then 220 kV Ladkana grid station, and then Head Fakiria grid station. These three grid stations are there, and all three are expected to be completed and commissioned during the financial year of 2023. Then comes this 220 kV Dhairki Raimia Khan transmission line, and this is $99 million US with estimated cost. And then approval was done in October 2019, and we plan to commission it during the financial year of 2023. Then comes the 500 kV Moro grid station, costing around $46 million US. And similarly, in the same financial year, 2023, we plan to finalize it, commission it. And then there is a project of additional source of supply to Jadawala grid station, Jadawala Road. And this is $25 million US. And we are once again in the same financial year, 2023, we plan to finalize it. So these are the projects we are looking for investment, financial assistance, maybe through CPEC. These are the landmark projects, big projects on the part of transmission. And as you know that during the next 5 years, we are going to have more megawatts in the system in order to meet the challenge of growing load in the system. And these projects are very important for the power evacuation or otherwise. So we look forward to the investment opportunities from the platform of CPEC, and our team is available here, and we would like to respond to any further queries or questions about these projects or any other investment opportunities with respect to transmission sector in Pakistan. So I'm available, my team is also available, NTDC team is available for responding to any questions. And thank you very much, and look forward to contribute to the prosperity of Pakistan from the perspective of transmission sector in the power sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salis.
Comseng Group of Hong Kong is one of the leading companies working in power sector. Our next guest speaker is engineer Mr. Mac, Executive Director of Comseng Group. Mr. Mac, please.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing me. Before I start my talk, I wish to supplement a few words about our company. Comseng Group has been supporting the two power companies in Hong Kong for their power generation, transmission, and distribution activity for more than half a century. Apart from these two power companies, Mass Transit Railway, Hong Kong International Airport, engineering utility departments of Hong Kong governments are also Comseng's major clients. Comseng is currently also furnishing its engineering services to power companies in the Greater Bay Area of China, and also Belt and Road Initiative countries like Thailand. Before joining the Comseng Group, I have been working in Hong Kong Electric for nearly 40 years, focusing on power generation, transmission, and distribution. I have chosen this topic for my talk today as I firmly believe secure and reliable power supply is essential for propelling economic growth, not just in Hong Kong, but also in other cities or countries. Before going into details, I would like to share with you how electricity is generated or delivered to the customers or the end users. The electricity is generated at power stations by using fossil fuels like oil, coal, natural gas. Also, power generation through the use of nuclear, hydro, solar, or wind power is also very popular worldwide. The electricity generated is then delivered to the end users through high voltage transmission and distribution networks, comprising overhead lines and underground cables. The electricity is then stepped down from high voltage to low voltage before supplying the end users. Now, as for the end users, they include infrastructures like railway lines, telecommunication network, street lighting systems, as well as all the commercial, residential, and industrial customers. Now, let me also share with you some trade practices commonly adopted by power utilities worldwide. The first one is that power generation capacity must always exceed the total generating demand, the total electricity demand from the end users. The second one is that the overall transmission and distribution capacity should always be greater than the total electricity demand from all the end users. In simple terms, supply should always exceed end users' demand, not just throughout the day, but throughout the years. Let us now examine how these trade practices have been adopted in Hong Kong. Now in Hong Kong, the total generating capacity is around 11,000 megawatt, excluding the nuclear generation import from Guangdong, China. The maximum demand of the end users up to today is around 9,600 megawatt, whereas the transmission and distribution capacity is estimated to be well over 16,000 megawatt. These figures are well in line with the trade practices mentioned above. Incidentally, customers in Hong Kong have been enjoying very secure and reliable electricity supply at very affordable rates in the past decades. A world-class supply reliability of better than 99.9997% have been achieved in Hong Kong in recent 20 years. This is equivalent to a supply outage of around 1.5 minutes per customer per year. Now, how about the economic growth in Hong Kong during the same period? Now, as reflected from this graph, the GDP of Hong Kong has increased from $169 billion in 2001 to $341 billion in 2020. Or in other words, the GDP in Hong Kong has doubled in the past 20 years. A secure and reliable power supply system is indispensable for supporting continual economic growth and developments. Let's now review the situation in Pakistan. The total generation capacity in Pakistan is understandably around 37,000 megawatt, while the maximum demand is 25,000 megawatts. However, the transmission and distribution capacity is only 22,000 megawatt. And I'm so pleased to learn from the earlier speaker that Pakistan had planned to upgrade its T&D network. Now, from the figure shown in this line, it is obvious that the bottleneck is actually the transmission and distribution network. In other words, it failed to deliver the electricity required by all its customers. Okay, knowing the challenge, do we have solutions? Now, for the medium and long term, I would say we need to strategically upgrade the existing transmission and distribution networks. This, admittedly, will take time. 5 to 7 years are normally required to complete all the necessary power system planning, procurement of the transmission and distribution equipment, as well as the site installation and commissioning. For the short term, we would recommend adopting distributed power generation for locations which desperately require electricity. This distributed generating system can be either photovoltaic generating sources or LNG generating systems of relatively lower power output ratings. These are relatively inexpensive, but could provide electricity supply within very short time frames. Next one. Now, engineering expertise and support will be required to accomplish the short, the medium, and the long-term solution mentioned above. Apart from this, financing of all these transmission and distribution infrastructures, as well as distributed generation system, is a crucial issue which we need to address separately. Now, that ends my presentation today. And if there are any Q&A, I would be more than pleased to address when we arrive at the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mac.
6分鐘要啊。
Mr. Johnny Chen is a well-known businessman in Hong Kong and China. He has served as standing committee member and chairman External Affairs Committee of the Chinese General Chamber of Commerce. I would like to now invite Mr. Johnny Chen to express his will. Mr. Johnny, please.
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. The Honorable Council General and your team, thank you so much for inviting me to speak. I would like to say that it is definitely my pleasure been working very closely with the councillors throughout my terms as the chairman of the External Affairs of Chinese General Chamber of Commerce. I still remember it's been a pleasure to host a Belt and Road Fest with your support. We have over 10,000 participants in the events. It was widely acknowledged by the community. There's two areas that I would like to touch on today, particularly in the talent. For the role of Hong Kong to participate into the CPEC, there's a large pool of talents, particularly the Pakistanians in Hong Kong. Through training, this is definitely a major support for all companies. With the cultural diversity and with the training, I'm sure a lot of us can mobilize these people to participate into the project. This is, I think, one of the key factors for the whole process, the investment works. And secondly, that I would like to touch on is the investment strategies. In terms of financial support, Hong Kong is well known as a financial, one of the biggest financial market in the world. With fundraisings still lead in the global capacity, we are able to use those projects and enable them to financing and even from listing in Hong Kong to get involved with all kinds of projects. So I would like to say this very briefly, saying that these two areas will be a majority, will be supporting by a lot of people to put into the projects across this initiative. Unfortunately, I have to run, so that's the two areas that I would like to address. And hopefully I can hear a lot more from the experts and to give more insight about the process and also with the new development into this this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnny. Hutchison Port is a well-expected name in port handling globally. Hutchison Ports has significant presence in Pakistan since more than 15 years. Mr. Eric Ong is Business Director for Middle East and Africa is with us. Let me invite him to share his experience while working in Pakistan. Mr. Eric, please.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm having some internet problem, and that is why I just switched to another device. I'm not sure if you can see the screen I share through the other device. Hold on a second. Ali, to save time, I suggest you let
we can next test and then again return to you. Okay, no
yes,
problem.
I'll WhatsApp you. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Lahore Chamber of Commerce and Industry is the one of the oldest chambers of Pakistan, serving the business community since about 98 years. Mr. Kamran Saeed will highlight the investment opportunities in Lahore, Pakistan, and role of chamber in that context. Mr. Kamran Saeed, please. Mr. Kamran Saeed. I think Mr. Kamran Saeed.
Hello. This is Lahore Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry, Mr. Kamran is out for a minute. He'll be back. Just give me one more minute, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the problem.
No problem. I'm sorry. I think while we are waiting of Lahore Chamber, we can invite our next guest. Chambers of Commerce and Industry play a key role in bringing various stakeholders in the same platform. Mr. Andrew Wells, Secretary General of Commonwealth Chamber of Commerce, Hong Kong, is also with us. He has served in Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce in past. I'd like to invite Mr. Andrew to share his views. Mr. Andrew, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Ali. Assalamu alaikum. Daga ho. I'd like to thank His Excellency, the Consul General of Pakistan, for inviting me to be part of this webinar. And I hope that everybody can actually hear me. Please let me know if you have a difficulty. My name is Andrew Wells, and as Mr. Oman says, I'm Secretary General of a new organization called the Commonwealth Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong, which you'll all be hearing about a little bit more after the Chinese New Year. I'm also the Vice Chairman of the Asia and Africa Committee for the General Chamber and the founding convener of its Belt and Road Group. I'd like to take a slightly more idiosyncratic approach in my very short presentation. We were all living in times that from a business perspective are pretty miserable. Unilateralism, trade wars, COVID, we all know the list. So it's encouraging to me that there are one or two really good stories that perhaps are not getting as much attention now as the bad stories are. And I'm going to touch on two of them. Obviously, one of the good stories is what this webinar is about, the Belt and Road Initiative, in which Pakistan, as so many of the speakers have eloquently explained, is a key player through CPEC and with a history that goes back before that. I have no intention of going over all the excellent detailed presentations of previous speakers, but I would like to make 2 quick points about Belt and Road involvement from a Hong Kong perspective in Pakistan, and actually this applies elsewhere as well. These are problems we encounter. One is there's been a lot of important talk about infrastructure, major investment by companies, whether SOEs in the mainland of China or whether by big listed companies in Hong Kong and elsewhere. That is, of course, the first part of any major investment initiative of this kind, and is quite right and proper. But it does leave a lot of smaller companies, a lot of SMEs, wondering and actually asking very frequently, what's in it for us? Is there anything? And I think that we, over the last couple of years, as things have progressed, we're managing to sell the message that there is in fact a lot of action, so to speak, for everyone. It isn't just the big companies, it's professionals, and it isn't just professionals, obviously accountants and arbitrators, but beyond that, even IT, even merchandising, tourism, all of these things will be able to piggyback on the major initial infrastructure developments, which I'm sure will be the case in Pakistan as well. The second point I want to make about it, or the second issue which comes up, I should say, is that at least if you go back to the earlier days of BRI, there was a bit of skepticism in Hong Kong amongst certain business folk saying, well, you know, isn't this just a colossal branding exercise? I have a hotel in Vietnam, but I'd have it anyway. So now it becomes a Belt and Road project just because it's in Vietnam. I think, again, we've passed that point, fortunately. A lot of good work has been done, in particular by the AIIB under Dini Chon, and also actually by the UK, the Department of Industry and Trade, to classify what actually constitutes a BRI project and what doesn't. And of course, locally, the TDC, as we were being told earlier, has played a big role. Now, leaving just on one side the BRI, I also want to talk about the second good news story, in my view, which is to do with the Commonwealth. Pakistan is, again, a key member. So it's a key member of BRI, key member of Commonwealth. And it comprises, as many of you will know, 52 countries. They range of all types of governments, all kinds of economies, all types of populations, you know, from South Africa to Cyprus, from Singapore to Canada, from Ghana to Pakistan. It's a very big group. And it's been given a bit of an impetus now, thanks to the UK's decision to leave the European Union. Whatever you may think of that decision, you may support it or be appalled by it. But anyway, since it's happened, this has now got a lot of traction, not just in the UK, but in other governments who are seeking to build up relationships with the UK. With this in mind, a number of business folk in Hong Kong decided that it would be useful to put together a non-political, strictly non-political business chamber of commerce that would promote the interests of Commonwealth companies, including ones from Pakistan, in Hong Kong, and vice versa. And why, you know, what's that got to do with the BRI, and why would Hong Kong do that? Well, the reasons is very, very simple. I mean, for the BRI, the previous chief executive always used to talk about it as Hong Kong as being the super connector, because we stand on as a bridge between China, mainland, and the rest of the BRI countries. And I would argue the same thing applies for the Commonwealth. So we have 2.4 billion people living in Commonwealth countries, 1.4 billion people roughly living in China. That makes certainly more than half the world's population. And of course, there's a real geographical overlap between Commonwealth countries and Belt and Road countries. So we will make it a priority for our new organization to focus on countries which are involved in the Belt and Road initiative and see whether we can improve on the synergy. People don't always know that for the Commonwealth, there is something called the Commonwealth Advantage. It can be quantified. Inter-Commonwealth trade between two Commonwealth countries is on average 5 to 10% more profitable than trade between a Commonwealth and a non-Commonwealth country. So leveraging that together with the Belt and Road Initiative is, in brief, our mission. I look forward very much to dealing with His Excellency the Consul General, who I had the privilege to meet, and also his team, and also in particular members of the business community from Pakistan in Hong Kong and in Pakistan to this end. I'm happy to answer questions later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew. Pakistan government has announced various special economic zones to attract foreign investors. Now, may I take the opportunity to invite Mia Kashif Ashfaq, Chairman, Faisalabad Industrial Estate Development and Management Company, to broaden our horizons about the role of special economic zones being undertaken by FEDMIC. Mia Kashif Ashfaq, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I first of all like to thank you, our Consul General in Hong Kong, Mr. Bilal Ahmed Bhatt, and Mr. Javed Iqbal, President for Pakistan Hong Kong Trade and Investment Forum, and Mr. Ali Awan for arranging such a nice forum to speak to and brief about the projects of FEDMIC. So I have a small presentation which I like to share with you guys. Just give me a second. There is some problem with the presentation, but in a while they will bring and I'll show the presentation. But I like to introduce myself. I am the chairman for Faisalabad Industrial Estate Development and Management Company. This is called FEDMIC, and it's in the right center of the province Punjab. We have 4 different initiatives running in Faisalabad. One is our zone named Value Addition City, which is for 250 acres. The other one is M3 Industrial City, which is on 4,500 acres. And the new project, which is called Illama Iqbal Industrial City, this is a CPEC project. CPEC project, the only project in Punjab for economic zones. And the 4th one, we have in 300 acres, we have a commercial business zone, in which we are bringing Expo Center, Technical University, Techno Park, and many other facilities. These are all adjoining in one road, like which is coming from Lahore to Faisalabad. And on the right and left, when you go from Pindi Patiya to Faisalabad, it's on Saiyanwala interchange. So total area of these zones about 8,000 acres. And we have roughly 32 Chinese companies already working with us. Some of them are already in production and some of them are in construction phase. So because of the COVID, this year was very slow. We were expecting roughly 100 plus companies from China to relocate from China to Pakistan. But now our Chinese embassy here in Pakistan, they have also assured us that from March onward, we will be receiving a lot of investors, industrialists from China. And then same we will be expecting from the Hong Kong consulate to introduce us with some of the people who would like to come to Pakistan and invest here, especially for the industrialization. And the important thing that in our zones, we have a lot of incentives for our investors coming from China. Mainly, we have 10-year tax holiday. There is no tax when you come here and establish your industry. And the other one is that whatever you import from anywhere, plant and machinery, there is no duty, no taxes, nothing you have to pay. And the good thing is that our price is very good. It's like $60,000 per acre. So, and you have to pay this in 4-year installment. You just pay 15% as token money advance, and the rest you have to pay in 16 installments next 4 years. So, another area which I like to highlight here is that one window service center. We have roughly 17 provincial and federal departments with whom you deal, while establishing your industry here. And can I now show? Yes, just a second. The presentation is here. So I quickly. Can you hear me, Ali? And
yes, we can hear.
It has shared on it. Continue.
Yeah.
चीज़ शेयर ही है नजर आ रही है
This is Faisalabad Industrial State Development and Management Company. It's 100% owned by the government of Punjab, and we're managing all specialized economic zone under this company. I am being the chairman, honorary chairman, working. It's a prime example of public and private partnership. And the good thing is that it's in the heart of Pakistan and Punjab. And we, as I told earlier, we have 3 specialized economic zones and 1 business zone. And this is the only company which comes under CPEC in Punjab. Largest single company managing an area of 8,000 acres for SCZs. And we have 1 window service center offering end-to-end services for all the investors. And we have online portal for booking and purchasing of land, ensure transparency and booking on first come, first serve basis. This is something like even from your consulate, or we can give you the link, you can share with your customer, they can go on our website and they can make the selection, they can see the facilities, and they can book, even they can block their location from the online portal. This facility we have available with us here in FedMig. This is where we are located in Pakistan, and these like figures, for example, you can see we are 20 minutes from Faisalabad and 15 minutes from interchange on M4 near Sargodha, 80 minutes from Lahore, 120 minutes from Multan, and 180 minutes from Islamabad. This is the Pakistan. We are on Pakistan map. And now this is the history of our company. The first zone was started in 2004, and we sold in 2007, and the other one was started in 2007, and we sold almost in 18. Now we have available Allama Iqbal industrial zone, which is started, and the infrastructure work is almost completed. So this comes under CPEC. We have now two zones to offer to all our new investors and industrialists. This is Allama Iqbal, and the other one is FedMig Business Zone. So you can see on the screen. And this is the where we are located and the options we have available. Like, for example, we have a shuttle train coming from city up to our zone to bring the labor. We have super express highway, which is connecting from one motorway to the other motorway. We are making cargo airport here. We have a dry port here, and we have different other initiatives, like we are launching health city concept here. We're bringing the different international companies who are interested to produce their healthcare products in Pakistan, because Pakistan so far all the electro or biomedical products are being imported from all over the world. So this is one of the advantages we have in these zones. And next, as I told earlier, we have a zero duty on import of machinery and the infrastructure material and everything. And 10 years, we have income tax holidays. And as I told, 15%, you just have to deposit, and rest you have to pay in four-year installments. And the minimum size is 2 acre, and the maximum is you can go up to any size. And the our policy is that we give 6 months time, after the possession. Any investor or industrialist comes, they have to set up or start their construction work within 6 months, and they must be into production within 2 years. And we have state-of-the-art infrastructure, and also we have another very good facility, bound to bound. For example, if any industrialist working here in FedMig, they need to import raw material from anywhere in the world, that raw material will come duty-free, and there will be no taxes or custom or anything. And the other thing that I already shared with you, that we have a complete end-to-end service solution. We have one office here in Lahore, the other one office we have in Faisalabad, where we provide complete one window service to our customers. And these are the initiatives in all zones we have. As you can see, we made a model police station, disaster management, safe city where it's under process, dual carriageway, and another interchange we are developing there, solid waste management complete. We are planning there, solar plants we are going to add in these zones, and shuttle train, as I told earlier. So these are the initiatives. And then you can see in the next detail that we have different blocks available, like for Chinese, for GC, for Turkish, for USA. So we have a block countrywide, and also we have a different industry initiative, like we are developing health city in that zone, apparel park, light engineering, and the furniture city. Within the same zone, we are developing different segments and separate areas, for these initiatives. And next, we are also planning a complete like vocational and training support to our industrialists over there to give them the right manpower, skilled people. We have roughly 7 to 8 known institutes of technical education who are going to be collaborated with us and starting their institutes there to bring the skilled people. This is the map of our new zone, Illama Iqbal Industrial City. You can see segment wise, it's clearly shown on the map. It's the zone master plan. And these are the list of our customers which have already bought the place. And total area we have sold so far is 700 acre, and it's 34% of the total area we have already sold to the local companies and Chinese companies. We have roughly 18 companies, and we are expecting more companies to come and join us. This is our business zone, which is for the commercial area. Like we have an expo center, golf and country club, apartment buildings, commercial building, techno park, hotels, hospital. We have everything inside here. Logistic park, we have, the space allocated. These are the prices of per acre. I'll send this presentation to Mr. Ali. If you can kindly share with all the participants, they can see later on also. And then there is a detail of plug and play. We are developing a parallel park, a complete concept. In this slide, you can review, if someone is interested. Then we have Furniture City complete concept. Then we have a Health City complete concept. And then this one window service center, ease of doing business. So that's all. Thank you very much. Sorry for the little confusion in start, but I hope if anyone is interested, you're always welcome. We will pick up you from Lahore. We'll take you to our industrial area. We have office in Lahore. We have team dedicated available. So you just focus on your production line and technical side. Rest, all the issues start from the registration in SCCP or SCCP to set up your production. We are completely responsible. We'll fully take care of our investors, friends from abroad. And once again, I'm really thankful to Mr. Bilal, Consul General of Pakistan in Hong Kong, and his team of arranging this such a nice forum for FEDMIC and all others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mia Kashif. I feel honored to announce that with the support of Consul General of Pakistan in Hong Kong and untiring effort of Mia Kashif Ashfaq, Chairman FEDMIC, an MOU is going to be signed between FEDMIC and Pakistan Hong Kong Trade and Investment Forum to enhance investment schemes between two countries. I may like to invite Chairman FEDMIC and President Pakistan Hong Kong Trade Investment Forum to sign the MOU, and I would like to request Excellency to be the witness. Mia Kashif Ashfaq, please.
I have signed documents with me for this memorandum of understanding with Pakistan Hong Kong Trade and Investment Forum, and I'm thankful to the Consul General and Mr. Javed Iqbal, and I'm really sure that with this MOU we will have a lot of work together. We'll exchange a lot of views, all the customers coming from Hong Kong, China, and even will keep on sending some of the delegation. Will be frequently in touch with you through this forum, and this is a big initiative. And I thank you very much to the Consul General, Mr. Javed Iqbal.
Yes, Mr. Javed, please.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. What's up? Thank you for having me, and Kashif Sahab, thank you, and happy to see you again. This is a really good opportunity to channel business from Far East to Pakistan. And you know, PKHKIF is the organization which people will have a eye-opening experience when they actually see it. They just feel, you know, Pakistan is not organized, but when they come to Pakistan or when they see your setup, they will find out that it's not the case. There are people who are very well organized and they can do a good job. And that is what you have been doing all along. And it's our job in Hong Kong, with the help of the Consul General, to, you know, let everybody know about this. And once they know, then it will be an easy job. But at this moment, they are not aware of how good things are. And that's what we have to do in Hong Kong. That's the thing. And it's my pleasure to sign the MOU with you. And thank you very much.
Excellency, please.
Yeah, I would like to congratulate both the counterparts organizations. And I assure all of my friends in Pakistan and Hong Kong that Consulate General would act like a bridge to bring our investors, entrepreneurs closer to each other and to facilitate whatever way we will be able to do. And I hope that inshallah we will be able to create a difference by, you know, enhancing more cooperation between Pakistani entrepreneurs, investors, and Hong Kong entrepreneurs and investors, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Very warm congratulations to the PKHKIF and Pakistan-Hong Kong Trade Investment Fund. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Yeah. May I request to Mr. Eric Ong? Mr. Eric Ong from Hutchison Port.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mr. Eric, please go ahead.
Okay. Can you see the screen? See the presentation? Ali, can you see this presentation?
Yes, Eric, I can see the presentation, please.
Great. Thank you, Your Excellency Pilar, for inviting us to participate in this forum. I have a very short presentation about our investments in Pakistan. So a very brief background of our company. So Hutchison Port is part of CK Hutchison Group, which is a listed company in Hong Kong. We are the largest port operator in the world. We handled around 86 million TEU in 2019, with 52 port operations in 27 countries. So this is roughly our footprint, and you can see that our investment is along the CPEC corridor. Is along the One Belt, One Road corridor. We see Pakistan as a very high potential country, and it's not just the population in Pakistan, but also the landlocked country on the north of Pakistan, which could be a potential market. This is the landscape of Karachi Port. And KICT on the left is our first investment since 2001. The cumulative investment is around 230 million US dollar. And with the success in this investment, we started another project in Karachi, which is the South Asia Pakistan terminal. We call it SAPT. We start construction in 2013 and commenced operation in 2016. Total investment is over 600 million US dollar. The facility with a key length of 1,500 meter and 85 hectares of area, which is big and the biggest in Pakistan. It is the only terminal which can serve the biggest vessel in the world. And this is an amazing picture, but I have to remind you, this is only half of the operations. We are under, the second phase is under construction. We bring in the latest technology to this terminal, and it is operated by our in-house developed operating system, NGen, which is same as the one we are using in Hong Kong in the Kwai Chung terminal. And this is our mini NASA. Is actually the operating center of the terminal. And we have remote control key crane in this terminal. And we are installing remote control yard crane as well in phase 2. So this is the, these two ladies are the very, very few female operators in the industry. Not only in Pakistan, but also in the whole industry, they are very rare female operator. And you can see at the back, so now our operators are driving these heavy equipment in the office. Other than this remote control system, we are also bringing in some technology like hybrid RTGC, with which can reduce our carbon emission, and we have our own powerhouse in the terminal, which can avoid further burden to the public system. And the latest technology we bring to Pakistan is actually in Hong Kong, in the Kwai Chung terminal. All our vessels planning is now being conducted in Pakistan. We have set up this regional operation center in Pakistan to serve our terminals in Hong Kong and Yantian. So we are planning to further expand this regional center to make Pakistan able to serve more and more our international terminals in other parts of the world. So we have won some award in these years, and it's our pleasure and it's our honor to have the chance to invest and serve the country. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Eric. Our last speaker is from Lahore Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Kamran Saeed. Mr. Kamran Saeed. I think just a minute. जी कामरान सर जी अब आपकी
अनम्यूट कर दें
जी ओके या Mr. Kamran Saeed.
It's an honor for me to be in this gathering. I'll give a short presentation. It's an honor for me. I'll give basically a very holistic view about, our relations with Hong Kong. Hong Kong, as you know, has been a very major contributor in our FDI. And if you look at the FDI contributors in Pakistan in the last year, in this fiscal year, from July to November, and Hong Kong definitely comes in the top 5. So we really cherish our relations with Hong Kong, as it has always been a very high contributor relatively in terms of Pakistan's FDI. But our trade with Hong Kong, as you can see, the volume is only $183 million. Our exports to Hong Kong are just $99 million, while our imports from Hong Kong are just $84 million. So Pakistan's exports to Hong Kong, as you can see, it's mostly textiles, apart from a few copper, and it's mostly leather and textile items. And then our imports from Hong Kong are around $84 million. So trade volume is one thing I think which needs to be increased along with the investment. And Hong Kong is a very large market. As you can see, that the global imports of Hong Kong are around $578 billion. So there's a lot of room for Pakistan, to attract investments, to increase, its exports to Hong Kong. So it's a very large market for us. As the Excellency mentioned earlier, that Pakistan has, in the CPEC, we have around 9 SEZs that are, being made in the CPEC, under CPEC. So there's a great room, for the Hong Kong investors to come and invest in the CPEC SEZs. And I would just, a map showing all the SEZs that, that are being made in the CPEC. And moving on, I would like to show that, the 9 SEZs that are, being made under the CPEC. As you can see, we have 9 SEZs, and each SEZ has, a very sizable amount of area, and all the facilities, including the access to airport, access to dry port, access to railway stations, are being offered to, in these SEZs. And each SEZ, has already, outlined the, the type of industries that, the investors can come and invest. As you can see, the Rashid Economic Zone, it really welcomes industries from garments, merchandise, electronics, appliances, automobile, and same for, the other SEZs. And around 9 SEZs are being made. So we really welcome, I think, the Hong Kong, investors to come and invest in the SEZs in Pakistan, that are being made under CPEC. And the regime for investment is very liberal. The foreign investors, they can take all the remittances. There is no upper limit on the foreign equity. The custom duties are, as you already mentioned, that there is a tax relief in terms of custom duties. And there is a one-time exemption on import of, on duties on the imports of all the plant and machinery. There is a 10-year income tax holiday also. Lastly, I would like to highlight the areas, where Hong Kong investors can come and invest in Pakistan. First is the IT sector, in Pakistan is very, vibrant. It's always very blossoming. And mobile phone manufacturing, government has recently given a policy for mobile phone manufacturing. A lot of investment is coming in, in this area. So we invite the Hong Kong investors, to come and explore this side, to manufacture mobile phones in Pakistan. And, the government is very keen to improve our energy mix. And as a result, they're moving towards electric vehicles. And recently, the electric vehicle policy has also come out. So this is also one area, where Hong Kong investors can come and explore. Construction is also a very important area in Pakistan. Prime Minister has, promised to build 5 million houses in the next 2 years. So construction sector is one sector, where the investors from Hong Kong can come. There is, and apart from these 5 million houses, there is also this Pakistan Ravi Riverfront, urban project. And next, I would like to move towards the engineering goods. Engineering sector in Pakistan has always been, a bit, unorganized. But, that's, in the cities like Gujranwala, Faisalabad, Sialkot, there's a lot of engineering industry in Pakistan. So this is one area, in particular surgical instruments, where the investors can come and, invest. And also there is a room for investment and joint ventures in the sports good industry. And Pakistan is also, trying to improve its energy mix, and we are trying to move away from the thermal and towards the renewable energy. So I think solar and wind energy. So this is one area where, there's a lot of room for potential. Under CPEC, there is I think a lot of room to invest in the areas like transport, logistics. As you know, as the SEZs will be completed, the demand for transport and logistics will definitely increase. So I think Hong Kong investors can also look at this area, transport and logistics, and textiles also. Although we have some exports of textiles to Hong Kong, but we need to move, towards a more, high-end fashion textile products. And this is one area where Pakistan and Hong Kong can enter into joint ventures, and Hong Kong investors can invest here. We also have a very high value of livestock available in our country. So there's a room for Hong Kong investors, to come and establish slaughterhouses here, establish the meat industry here. Fisheries is also one areas where there's a, lot of room for joint ventures. And similarly, processed food and fruits are also areas, where there's a room for investment from Hong Kong, and, we can share the expertise of both the countries. So that's all from my side. I would, once again like to thank the efforts of the Pakistan Consulate in Hong Kong, for organizing this great event, and I really hope that we can have such more events in the future. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kamran Said. We have received few questions from the participant. May I request to Mr. Asim Ayub to reply the questions, and if supposed to be participant have any other questions, they can send us by email to our consulate. Mr. Asim, please.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you please come up again?
Sir, we have few questions. We have just forwarded to you. Can you kindly reply the questions?
All right. All right.
Pakistan, yes.
All right, all right. So I have this question with me, which says that can we open a company in Pakistan online during our stay in Pakistan? Yes, as a company, as a company, they can operate in Pakistan. And online, you mean that on automated systems? So this is through SECP. I think that a company can register and they can open the company. So the answer is yes. And the next question is, can a foreign national may buy a land in SEZ? So after registration as a company, yes, they can buy land in SEZ. Can a POC holder can buy land in Pakistan? This POC, Mr. Ali, can you make it? Can you elaborate on this? POCs?
POC means Pakistan Origin Card. The persons who are basically Pakistani origin, but they are holding any other nationality, they got Pakistan Origin Card.
But this question actually does not pertain to us, especially the CPEC Industrial Corporation. So I'm sorry that we'll have to get back to you on this. We'll check it out. But because we are primarily dealing with the SEZs and the CPEC Industrial Corporation chapter, sir.
Company can purchase it.
Or however, the company can purchase land or national local can purchase land in Pakistan. So that is one answer. And then can consulate may assist on behalf of Board of Investment in Hong Kong. Yes, they can, and I believe that is that is yes, and they can also approach directly here. So this again question does not pertain directly to the CPEC Industrial Corporation chapter, but yes, they can do that. So if there is another further clarification needed on this, I'm here. Please let us know. And we also provide, yes, for the business visas, yes, that can be done. The work visas, they are also being coordinated here, facilitated through the BI platform. Yes, through branch liaison officers. So that can also be arranged. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And also I would like to add here one more information that we have developed a system where the enterprises and other the enterprises in the SEZs will be able to register themselves through online and through an automated feedback. So that is going to be another step towards providing ease of doing business. So just to share with our audience.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
May I request the Consul General Pakistan, Mr. Bilal Ahmed Bhatt, for his closing remarks. Excellency, please.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you very much, all the participants, for their patience, hearing, and participation. From the presentation, as we can see that it is no denying the fact that tremendous potential exists of investment in Pakistan in diverse sectors, including infrastructure development, hospitality sector, software and hardware industry, port and shipping, logistics, power transmission, power generation through alternative sources, development of special economic zones, and development of technology and IT parks. The government of Pakistan has provided numerous incentives and a conducive environment for making investments in Pakistan, especially under the CPEC framework. I'm sanguine that the investment in these sectors having tremendous potential for growth not only can result in social transformation in Pakistan, but can also provide significant returns to the investors. I believe investing in Pakistan is a win-win situation for all the players in the game. I hope that the information given by the participants in briefing and presentations would bring Pakistani and Hong Kong investors more close. This webinar would provide an opportunity to investors from both the sides to work more closely by capitalizing on their respective strengths. Consulate General offers its unconditional support to bridge the gap between the two counterparts. I also ensure by all friends that we will hold a series of webinars on investment opportunities in Pakistan to explore opportunities for further collaboration and cooperation. At the end, my facilitations to the team led by Mr. Ali Awan Malik, Trade Development Officer, Ms. Ada, Public Relations Officers, and Ms. Tequila, Trade Coordinator, for putting tremendous amount of hard work and brilliantly coordinating the event. Mr. Assam, our Consul, also provided much needed support to the team for organizing this event. Thank you very much, all of you, for your participation and support. Looking forward to see you again. Pakistan, Paindabad. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.